I stopped going to church. I'm a live streamer and influencer. My life has become very alienating. In October of 2024, God spoke to me and I started praying again. I overcame a fear while I was having health problems, and I had been praying ever since. I was raised Catholic and I was atheist for 15 years of my life. I'm 33 years old. And when God spoke to me in October, I started praying again. The earliest prayers I could remember, that of being the rosary. And within a month after I faced my fear and listened to God, I ended up having to move. And I ended up moving right next door to a Catholic church. I spent several nights praying in their Adoration Chapel when I first moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I've been going through one of the top 5 most difficult parts of my life. And praying in that chapel really helped me cope. I got so comfortable with the chapel that I opened up to my platform about my new relationship with God. So many people, thousands of people supported this new chapter of my life, and they wanted to come along with me while I prayed in the Adoration Chapel Hall. So I hosted 3 live streams walking to the Adoration Hall right here next to my house. And I let them join me for prayer. At this point in time, a lynch mob has formed against me on social media platforms. And this mob stalks everywhere I go, and they have one mission: to sabotage my life and destroy anything that makes me happy. So one day my family was visiting and I hadn't been to the chapel in days. I brought my family to the chapel. It was locked. And I learned that the chapel remained locked because 3 of the people who stalked me contacted the church and made up horrible lies. One lie was Adrielle, a live streamer, live streamed herself drunk after she had been kicked out of her house, and she fell asleep overnight and took occupancy in your church. So they basically said a homeless live streamer is sleeping in your chapel. The second call said, I don't know if I can say this on here, there's a live streamer who is atheist and going into your church, making videos, shouting obscene things that I can't say on here because it would violate the guidelines. The third call said Adrielle broke into your church and vandalized it on a live stream. Look at your surveillance cameras immediately and press charges on Adrielle for vandalism, trespassing, and disturbing the peace. These stalkers truly have it out for me. And so they decided to send those emails and messages, phone calls, voicemails, whatever, over to their security department. And in the meantime, the doors have remained locked. And I've decided that I'm not going to be going to church. When I was an atheist for 15 years, part of that reason is tribalism, ostracization of groups of people. And when God spoke to me in October, I really flipped my way of thinking, and I knew that He existed. If it weren't for God speaking to me, I wouldn't have overcome that hardship that I was enduring, without a doubt. And then I think about how this is happening and how alienated I feel and other people must feel because the church has decided to lock their doors. Churches, from my perspective, in my opinion, are a place of sanctuary where everyone is welcome. You know, there are so many people who go to that church the same way as me and sit there alone in peace at night, cry their eyes out, turn their pain over to God, and walk out of that building with strength. That building is to be a sanctuary, but their actions prove otherwise. If they were to look at the cameras, they would see a person praying for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and leaving. There's no vandalism, no disruptions, no occupancy taken. It was all a lie. And if they open their doors again, I don't know if I'll go back, because it leaves me in a really conflicted position of what a true church truly is supposed to be and what it's truly not. I had a long 30-minute phone call with the church, and the church understood my truth. They understood that none of those allegations were true, and that there is a group of stalkers who truly have one mission: to destroy anything that makes me happy. And at this point, I feel that they have destroyed my relationship with God. Wrapping up the 30-minute phone call, the church agreed that their security team would be in touch with my attorneys to hand over contact details and messages that they received harassing me. But it's been 2 weeks and the church's security team still has not made contact with my attorneys. Therefore, the church doesn't care that I'm being stalked and harassed. The church doesn't care about my relationship with God. If they did, they would have helped my case by contacting my attorneys and reaching out to them. Being a live streamer and content creator for a living disrupts the status quo, and it really puts things into perspective for me. I'm merely a live streamer and content creator for a living, and the church wouldn't advocate for me when I was experiencing pushback, hate, harassment, stalking, and cyberbullying. I can only imagine how marginalized groups of people feel who are victims of hate crimes when they try to reach out to a church for advocacy. I can only imagine how they feel when their strife is shuffled and brushed to the side. I'm a rich motherfucker too, and I think this was nothing but a sign from the universe to remember where to put my money. My life is full of abundance. Gratitude, the law of attraction, and manifesting are my specialties as a vegan who puts her best foot forward every day, making decisions with compassion. I don't think it was God speaking to me that day. I think it was the universe. I don't feel that prayers are what brought me solace through those hard, painful, difficult months. I feel that hardship brought me into a deep regression into my childhood where I was brainwashed that chanting those rhymes would bring me solace. And that my high vibrations, my perseverance, and gratitude are what brought me solace, achievements, and success through my hard times. In my opinion, from my perspective and what I've witnessed, that church locked their doors, turning away mourning, grieving people in deep pain, seeking solace. They locked their doors and put a wall between themselves and tourists. The church knew that all of those calls were false. All of those claims were false. And still, they choose to alienate and outcast people who disrupt their status quo. Innocent people, their own members, who give them donations and alms. That's not God's love. That's ostracism, barbarism, and tribalism. Above all, that's capitalism. That's Jesus plus nothing.